In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your original mirrors for these tow mirrors on this Chevy Silverado. Let's get started. To get this switch panel out, we have to remove this grab handle, and to do that, we have to pull off this cover for it so that we can access the two mounting bolts for it. So take a trim tool, pop off the bottom of it. There we go. Pull that off. Now you have two 10mm bolts, one at the top and one at the bottom. With those off, you can pull this grab handle out of the way. Now pry up on this switch panel. With it popped off of here, we can get to our switch. With this switch panel up, let's unplug all the switches here. We'll start with the lock switch. Someone's clearly been in here before, so I'm going to be careful with this one. Pry up on that little tab and push it off of here. The master window switch. And then the mirror switch over here. For this one, sometimes you'll need a pocket screwdriver to help you pry on it. There we go. Underneath this grab handle, you'll notice that there's a cover. We're going to have to pop this cover off so we can get to the mounting screws that hold down the door. You can do this with a pocket screwdriver or a pick, or anything that'll get down here and kind of pry up on this cover. There we go. Two 10mm bolts. Remove both of them. Right by the door handle, you'll see another one of these covers. Pop this off as well, and another 10mm bolt. Lift up on the door handle and remove the bolt. We have to remove the lock indicator. Make sure it's in the unlocked position. Grab a little pocket screwdriver or pick, and you're going to want to pry out on this cap. Just like that. This will release it. You can pull it up and off. Remove the sail panel at the top. Just pry it off. Now you should be able to pry out on this door panel. Lift it up. Let's remove the door handle cable. To get the door handle cable out, you're going to have to pinch these two tabs. I'm going to use some needle nose pliers to do this, and then pull the cable out at the same time. There we go. Get it out through that slot, and then pull the ball end through. Now you can pull your door panel away. Now peel the vapor barrier back, and right here is our mirror connection. Press on the locking tab and unplug it. You don't necessarily have to remove this, but I will, because it's going to make it a lot easier for me to get access to the retainers that hold this wire behind this plate onto the door. There are three 10mm bolts that hold this on. Remove them all. Now you can remove this bracket. Over here, take a trim tool and pop it out. Do the same up here. Try not to scratch the paint too much. Remove this foam insulation. Set it aside safely. We're going to reuse this unless it's in poor condition. Now let's unbolt the three 10mm mounting nuts that hold this mirror onto the door. Careful on this last one. The mirror most likely will not fall. It does have a couple tabs that it's held on with, but you still want to make sure. Try not to drop that in the door. Grab onto your mirror, slide it right out. Take your new mirror, get that wire through the door. And line it up with all the bolt holes. Start on one mounting nut, and you can start in the other two. Make sure they're all evenly tightened so that that gasket on the back side of the mirror can squish, or on the back side of the door, I should say. It's going to have to prevent water from getting in, wind noise, and all that. And just go around several times, because as you tighten one, more than likely as the gasket squishes, other mounting nuts will loosen up. Take the wire and clip it in. While we're in this area, let's get the foam piece reinstalled. Just like so. This helps with wind noise. Reattach this wire over here on this retainer, And bringing your wiring harness back to the main connector. I like to loop it around here just because it's long and I don't want it to get caught on anything. Make sure that clicks. Now if you took this off, take that bracket, slide it back on, and bolt it back up. Make sure all these are snug. If they're not, this will rattle around as you drive, and that's not great. Get your vapor barrier, put the wires through, and do your best to stick it back onto the door. Like I said before when I took it off, these a lot of times will not stick back on, so either put more butyl tape on or other tape or whatever you have, but make sure it's seated on the door, and then we can put the main door panel on. All right, bring in the door panel. This is going to be difficult to see and to do, honestly. You're going to have to hook the cable into the door handle and then up and through the slot, and then you'll have to bring this door panel fairly close to the door and then slide this cable through until it clicks. Now make sure these wires are coming through. Make sure the lock indicator comes through, and slide this down onto the window seal here at the top. Just like so. Once all the push clips are lined up, tap it into place. Let's get this screw in by the door handle. Tighten that up. While you're here, might as well put this cover on. Make sure it clicks in place. Now let's get the two screws in up by the grab handle. Don't forget the cover. Put the sail panel back on. It's got 3 clips that it needs to line up with and snap into place. Now let's put back the switch panel, untangle all these wires if they're tangled up, and reconnect them where they belong. We had the lock switch over here. Oh, obviously that works. And then a couple connectors on the window switch. Make sure all of those click. And lastly, the mirror switch. Now put this panel back down, line it up, and snap it into place. Now let's get the grab handle back in. Snug up these 2 bolts. And put this cover back on. Let's get the lock indicator back on, line it up over there. To have it perfectly lined up, you want to have it pressed up against the door panel with this little locking tab, then lock it in. And as you can see, now it's perfectly lined up for lock and unlock.